Bad thing. Hi guys, this is Denise Cooper, and I am here just to say anything, but especially thank you so much for everyone who's moving their shelves around. Simone and this wonderful Mackenzie vlogger. What in the heck? Thank you so much. Thank you guys for all your support. Thank you, Musical Toddy, for sitting down in front of your shelves and making sure that I have my shelves together and ready for next year, the Blackout 2018. I have been reading some things that has taken me to other places, to other books, to other writers, and I cannot wait for that to happen all of next year in 2018. The Blackout, where I read nothing but African American books. If you are a new African American writer and you stumble upon this channel, or your friend stumbles up on this channel, and you, friend, hey, you out there that knows you have a friend that wrote a book that is not published by some big, huge publishing house, and that they are selling it out their trunk like Master P, and they're doing their hustling thing and been doing it for years, and then they get published, or they're with a smaller publication house who's been loving on them and sharing their books out in the world and just taking care of their writers so the writers can just write. All of you independent indie writers, all of you out there who are Master P'ing it out of your trunk, get at us. 2018, I am encouraging people to at least purchase, with all the book buying that we do and the books that we check out at the library and what have you, purchase one book each month for 2018, the Blackout, by an indie African American writer. Indie meaning independent, published, Master P'ing it out their trunk, or with a small publishing house that isn't Penguin or Grey Wolf or any one of those big guys, right? So encouraging you, the friend who has a writer who wrote something about something, and we all need to know about that something. Yes, tell them that I am longing to read their book next year. I'm going to buy 12, one for each month. And that's just me. So multiply that for all these people who are moving their books and getting ready for the 2018, the Blackout, Reading Blackout, hashtag Reading Blackout, hashtag Black Booktube, hashtag Reading So Lit 365, hashtag do the dang thing, read a black person's book, like Steve said. I am telling you, it's going to be fun. I'm going to learn about so many new indie writers, and I can't wait to purchase your books and read them and get all sorts of recommendations from everybody out there. I really, 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 truly can't wait. I'm excited. So, with all that said, this month, this year is coming to an end. December. We're already on December the 6th. Yes, it's Wednesday night, midweek. Wednesdays. So I just kind of wanted to do an update again and tell you exactly um, what I am getting ready to go shopping for. I can't wait. It's just a few weeks away. And maybe I'll buy all 12 books in one time, or maybe I'll just buy a new book for each month. And I do have some indie writers on my shelf that are unread. They're already purchased. And so I plan to read most of those next year. And I can't wait. So hopefully you guys will join me. If you're going to join me for a month, 2 months, 3 months, like Dee Dee, thank you so much to Brown Girl Reading. Thank you so much for spreading the word. Everybody that is spreading the word, find someone else that can spread the word, that can spread the word. So let's lift them up. Let's read their literature. And let's help them to continue to be encouraged and write another book and another book and another book. And I cannot wait to reread some of the best first novel books that I've ever read by a person, or a person that wrote one book, like Dolores Phillips, who's got one of my favorite books of all time. It's called The Darker Child. I don't own that book. It was a library book, which I've told you guys a million times on this channel. I read sometimes more from the library than I do my own shelves, because I love buying them, and I'm not hoarding them. I am reading my shelves. However, I like a back and forth, and so I don't plan on stopping that. Next year I'll be checking books out at the library. I'm going to be taking some books back at to the library before this year ends, because I kind of like to get a feel for things, and so I check out a lot of things, and then I might read about 4 things or listen to about 3 or 4 things and then take everything else back. And I've done that now. I'm supposed to be reading Donna Tartt. But I cannot help continuously purchasing and checking out new books from new authors that I have found through some of the wonderful suggestions that we've been doing on BookTube Live with KT's suggestions. So if you have not joined us, please do. I put the blackout on, or the BookTube Live on hold, not the blackout. The blackout is still going down in a few weeks. Day one, January 1st. I cannot wait. Should I have a theme song? Should I? I already know what I'm going to start with, but should I have a theme song, a theme dance? But I'm also going to tell you about an announcement that I'm going to make. Something that I'm going to challenge myself to do. I've been inspired to do this by a guy who did this years ago. And he's an artist who painted. I'm not going to do this every day. I'm not going to wig out and do what he's doing because I got a 9-to-5 job, okay? And what he does, and he was an artist who painted a picture of a man, and I think one year he did all men or family or what have you. Anyway, I'm going to have to find him and I'll link him below possibly. But I think I'm going to talk about him again when December 1st comes around and I talk about the blackout and also my challenge for myself. But I was inspired to do that when I saw this artist who did a painting every day, 365 a day painting project. If you put in 365 day a painting project, you're going to find him. He's an amazing artist. And I remember I spent that year watching him paint a painting a day. I'm not doing that, not 365 paintings. I'm so excited to see where I'm going to end up at the end of the year with all the new books and all the books that I own on my shelf that are unread from African American writers. God, I can't wait to delve into Saunders Redding and his nonfiction wonder. I can't wait. So I am excited to see who I'm going to be and what I'm going to learn at the end of 2018. And so I said, well, why not do a challenge? Why not do a challenge for myself? And you know who else had challenged me or inspired me to do this challenge? Yamini, because she did the um, 52 films in a year, a film a week. There's 52 weeks in a year. So next year, 2018, there should be 52 weeks. I looked it up to make sure there weren't 54, 55. There's 52 weeks. That's one painting a week that I'm going to do next year. One painting a week. I have done that before where I've done, a painting a day and it lasted for maybe 30 days or 4, but never a year. And I'm not ever going to challenge myself to do that because, again, I do have a job. But one painting a week, I can do that. So that's my challenge for next year. One painting every single week for 52 weeks. We're going to see what I've come up with. I'm anxious. I have no idea. I thought, well, maybe I'll do something literature, about the books that I'm reading or listening to next year. Maybe I'll just snatch some things and some ideas from that and put it on the canvas. But then that'll be expectations for me, and then I'll be like, because I know how I am and how I create. I don't like nobody telling me what to do. I don't. Not even myself. I like to kind of wing it, and that's why I check out a lot of books, and then I kind of get a feel for what I want to read and then finish that and then take everything else back. And I have rechecked out books several times that I've checked out, like The Warmth of Other Suns. I'm going to start off with that next year, since it's not due until next year anyway, because, I could check it out like 2 or 3 times. But I listened to that like in 2014 or 2015. It had to be about 2 years ago. Yeah, about 2 years ago, because I've been here for 2 years. Yeah, 2 years ago, The Warmth of Other Suns, and I really enjoyed it. So I kind of, when I was listening to a book just recently, I didn't care for it, and didn't care for this one, Underground Airlines. I gave it a 1 star, and so I've taken that back. I just wanted to tell you guys, it's kind of like this story where they're trying to, I don't know. I was listening to it, and I was thinking, wow. It sounds kind of old school. It almost sounds like an Easy Rollins mystery. And then, it sounds like they're talking about slavery and they're going back and this woman and this man and he's trying to find, and he's got this case going on where he's doing this and she's got this kid and they're kind of meet up and they're doing these things together. And then all of a sudden it sounds kind of old school. And then all of a sudden somebody whips out their cell phone. I'm like, freaking, where are we? Where are we, this book? So anyway, as you get to the end of it, then you figure out, but you figure it out kind of beforehand. You kind of know what's going on. It's just that I didn't care for it. I didn't care what was going on. But I listened to it because the narration was so god darn good. The man told a story like I was literally listening to Walter Mosley, but the story wasn't that great. So it was a 1 star for me. And then, oh, there it is, there it is. I thought I had it over there. Okay, I don't have my glasses on, I can't see. But anyway, Warmth of Other Suns, and I really like this. This is Isabel Wilkerson. We talked about her on BookTube Live, and still listen to my Prince checkouts for some albums that I don't own anymore, and the ones that I do. I spent a whole day last weekend listening to nothing but Prince. And because I see so many people reading this, but Katie really enjoy this, so I'm going with her suggestion. Stay With Me, a novel by, yeah, we all know. I'm sorry, there it is, and I'm not going to butcher it. I am listening to Wally Lamb, as you guys know. I'm on the 3rd CD, and of course, you know, I've read some of this book, and so it's really interesting re-listening to something that you're already familiar with. And so now he's at the part where he's visiting his aunt, who's a hot mess, and it's really awesome because he talks about the women's prisons in here. And of course, I'm reading the nonfiction book about the women in prisons. So now that I'm reading this, I'm glad that I read some of this and listening to this, because the women prison thing is Lottie, his Aunt Lottie. You got to read this book. It's so good. But I'm glad to listen to it. I actually didn't care for the narration at first because the man sounds really old for the character that was in my head when I was reading the book. But then you grow into him. He's just so smooth and it's just so sarcastic, and I love it. It's like radio. Anyway, so I'm really enjoying him, and I'm on page. I haven't picked it up. I was on. Oh my God. Oh, I was supposed to read this to you guys. This is devastating. This is about Carol Ann. So Rebecca is reading this book also. I'm on page 260 something, which I totally took out my thing because I'm on this lady. I know where I'm at. Let me find her face. Anyway, I am on, because it's women telling stories in prison. And this is just America. I know I'm not on two. There she is. Snapshots of my early life. This is where I'm going to begin. So Rebecca, if you've read hers, please don't tell me about it because that's where I'm at. But me and Rebecca were talking about Carol Ann Adams. And Carol Ann Adams, there's a part in here that I kind of wanted to read so you can kind of get the gist of what Carol Ann Adams is going through. I mean, her life with her siblings and her mother, and then the father and the abuse, and then the mother just taking on and taking care of her kids and being that single parent. And then there's this part where she's at the window in this plant where she took her kids to this small town, and she's got this job and she's taking care of their kids, and she, you know, on payday her kids are down there and she's like upstairs at her job in this plant that she works at, and she, you know, puts the check down, and I mean just throws it over the window, and the kids are like down there getting, you know, waiting to get the check, and then they take it to the store so they can get food and whatever. And it's just, I mean, that moment that this woman has gone through with her husband and the abuse and having to walk, and these kids being like homeless, and family just like, you should have married him anyway kind of a thing, and you still got to be a mother and take care of your kids. And she's getting her paycheck at the end of the week and she's tossing it down to her children. I was like, Carol Ann. So Carol Ann is definitely, like, so far I think that story just like tugged at my heart. And just at the beginning, there's what I like about this book. Some women are like Carol Ann, are really open. Some women you can hear it in their stories. Like one of them was kind of short, and I was like, okay, so, and she's released, and I'm like, okay, I'm glad you went through the program and told your story, but you can tell she's holding back when you read other women in this story. But Carol Ann right now, that story and her mother and that whole, I can imagine just going through that and back in that time. And I really appreciate what he has done for these women in that prison and creating this writers program for them and so forth and so on. So Rebecca, high five to Carol Ann and her mom and taking care of these kids and all this tragic situation that they're going through. And I don't want to tell anything else, but that whole thing about her putting the check down there and the kids just getting it, and you know, that trust that she has after that abuse. You would think, that's what I wanted to say, after that abuse you would think that she wouldn't trust anybody. Not to say that her kids are going to take from her, but they're little kids, and you know, they're old enough to go to the store and get, you know, what they need while she stays at work. You know, I don't know. It could have went, yeah. That moment, and then you have to read the rest. So yes. Okay, so this is so good, and I'm only on page 12, and it's a stream of conscious writing, and you kind of have to know some stuff about some stuff here in America, and slavery and racism and the way people are treated and treat each other and so forth and so on. And it's good. I'm at the part where his grandfather is talking, and his grandfather's kind of like a bad A, or he wants people to think that he is. And you don't know the narrator's name. Now, in Swing Time was like that with Zadie Smith, and you don't kind of really care when the story is this good. And so you never know who the narrator is so far. I mean, it's just this man telling the story, and you get to meet his family through the stream of, you know, storytelling, and I just like it, and it's real, and it actually sounds like nonfiction, at least in my head. And being the fact that just 12 pages in, I can relate, because I've heard some of this attitude that African American older people have, and you know, that kind of a thing. So yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I really do, and I can't wait. I'm not taking that one back. This I'm taking back. I'm not going to read this. I'm not going to do it. I read 3 pages and I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's by, let me see, I think the author's in the back, Brian Platzer. He has an MFA from John Hopkins writing seminars and blah, 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 blah. It's called Bed-Stuy is Burning, a Novel. Brian Platzer. Why did I pick this up? Because I just watched Spike Lee. She's Got to Have It, the whole darn series. And then after I finished the series, like the other day when I wasn't feeling good, I laid down, and after I painted a little bit, and then I was just too tired to paint that day. So I laid down and I watched the original She's Gotta Have It movie, which is also on Netflix. So both on Netflix, both good. And I'm thinking, Spike Lee, Bed-Stuy Versant, I believe how you said, Bed-Stuy. I saw this book and I go, oh, Bed-Stuy, Spike Lee. I just want to read about Bed-Stuy. I'm all in this She's Gotta Have It mood, right? Not mood, but you know, in that flavor of his movies, because he's like one of my favorite directors. But anyway, so I pick the book up and I read like 3 pages and I'm going, huh? Nah. Chapter 1, things were good. That's the first sentence. As good as they've been in years. That's the second sentence. Maybe ever. Period. iPhone in hand, Aaron lay in bed and focused the baby monitor apps display and on Simon's little chest rising and falling. Then out in order to see Simon's hands and feet. They were fiery white blobs against the flat white crib mattress sheet. I was like, okay. Okay. Aaron shook off. Okay. 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 Yeah. Chapter 1 was like a page and a half, a little bit more, and chapter 2 started on about the 4th page. I'm not interested. So I don't really care. I just don't care. Anyway, I don't know how else to explain it. You just get, I'm a moody reader. Then I got The Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes, because I love her TV shows, but I think she's a little twisted in the head, and I'll talk about that maybe some other time, because yeah, Olivia Pope done lost her ever loving mind. And this is only 4 CDs. That's why I'm opening this. This is Bertice Berry, and I was reminded by Bertice Berry and that wonderful cute little book that Dee Dee was talking about possibly reading for Read So Lit. And then when this popped out at my head, I was like, ah, Bertice Berry, something else. And it's The Ties That Bind, a memoir of race, memory, and redemption. And it's only 4 CDs, so very short. And I have 15 books that I need to get through, or maybe 14 books now, I'm not sure, on Goodreads. So I'm going to do it by listening to and reading some short books. And High Cotton, and yeah, everything I showed you except for that Bed-Stuy book. Oh, and Miss Nunez. I do want to finish Grace. Bye. The Blackout 2018, and I've talked way too much. Thank you so much for all the new subscribers. Yeah, Toddy, I don't know where they're coming from either. Is this a YouTube thing? Are they pushing people on us? What's really going on? But thanks for all the recommendations and all the involvement. We're going to have a great time. I can't wait. But those are some of the things that I've been reading. Some of the things I read and didn't like. Some of the things I enjoy listening to, even though I've read some of it. I just really like doing that. Don't know why. Kind of like living in a story that I've read before and revisiting it. So next year I'll be revisiting a couple of Toni Morrison books. Song of Solomon, and also Tar Baby, but I have to read Jazz and The Mercy and all that other stuff to get caught up with some of my Morrison reads that I've been owning and haven't read. Bye. I'm going to shut up talking. The Blackout Baby is coming in a few weeks. Get ready. And my challenge for myself. A painting a week in 2018. They'll be Black people. Yes, most definitely.